I'm just going to make sure everybody is muted. Good. And now I'll take off my glasses. I apologize for the massive amount of sunshine. Um, I know this happened a couple of weeks ago. I guess I could kind of lean a bit, but really I should be grateful for sunshine. So I'm just gonna enjoy it. So let's settle into the practice. Just bring your shoulders up, back, and down the back. Sitting comfortably on your mat. Close your eyes if that's comfortable. Deepen your breath. And just create space. So as you're breathing, just notice how you're feeling. And notice the things that are not settling in your mind. And just draw your attention to the breath and see if the focus on the breath makes it easier to push all the other distractions. Good. So open the eyes and just start by reaching your arms up into the air. Stretch out your hands, stretch your fingers, maybe making circles with your wrists. And then just finding your way through a pack of dogs. And we're going to move into a child's pose. So this will allow us to kind of soften into the practice. So we're really going to be doing a lot of kind of slow, deep stretching tonight. And that takes the breath in order to really have that full release of the postures. And by that, I mean, as we are kind of getting into the postures, you need to deepen the breath. You need to slow the breath and focus on it, because that's the trigger for your physical self to start to release and relax. So I'm going to take a wide leg child's pose here. So my knees are further out towards the outer edges of the mat. And then I'm going to start to bring my arms down. I do have a towel, so I'm going to use it kind of as a bolster for my head. As you continue to deepen the breath and kind of just mindfully sink deeper into the pose, if you're using a prop, you might be able to remove it and just get closer and closer to the ground. Let's slowly start to rise up from this posture, coming first up to your forearms. Bring the knees underneath the hips. And just take a few breaths here. I'm going to flip my toes under and start to press back into a little bit of a combination of a hero pose and a toe and foot stretch. If this is not comfortable for you, you can just be on top of your feet, sinking down. I want the extra stretch. Along, however, with the extra stretch does come extra discomfort. This is an intense release of the feet. If this is not feeling good, you can try breathing more deeply. And from here, I'm going to bring the hands down. I'm going to release my toes. I'm going to bring my knees a little bit closer together. The feet come closer together. And then I come back into a traditional hero pose. If this is not comfortable for you, that's okay. It can take a lot of time to get here. Sometimes you can modify by just tucking a towel underneath to give yourself a little bit of a boost, or by placing a block between the legs. If you can manage this posture, palms up, shoulders back, and we want to start to feel the energy kind of lifting up through the front body. Let your neck be long, start to tilt the head back as you bring the shoulder blades just slightly closer together. Let the jaw drop. Slowly bring the chin back to its regular resting spot. And then again, we'll bring the head back slowly. And back to center. From here, we're going to lift up into what we normally would call the lightning bolt. So we lift up, tightening through the core. Let's bring the arms up into the air. Lots of length here. So we'll pull kind of up towards the ceiling. Just stretching and reaching. Take some deep breaths here. Core is staying tight. Hips are going to kind of just tuck under a little ways here. And press into the floor with the tops of your feet. That'll stabilize you in the posture. From here, soften the arms a little bit and just bring them back and down. And then let's do some arm circles. We're moving back, so opening through the chest. So maybe 1 and 2 and 3. Let's bring the arms back up. Hands to the heart as you sink back into your hero. Just take a couple of breaths. Tight through the core, we're going to sweep the arms, lifting up again. And this time move into cactus arms. So we're kind of pulling back. And take a few breaths, really opening up through the chest, bringing the shoulder blades together. Enjoy that stretch. And this time, chin tucks down to the chest. Take a few breaths. Head comes up. Palms come together, hands to the heart, sinking down back to the hero. I'm going to switch my direction. So we take a few breaths. Tight through the core, we're going to sweep up again. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then whatever way you were moving the arms, doing the circles before, I think I was going back, do the opposite direction. So I'm going to go forward for 1, for 2, and for 3. Hands to the heart, sink down. Take some breaths. And last time, tight through the core, sweeping up, lifting up back to your cactus arms. This time, twist to the left. So we're twisting from the waist up, go as far as you can, breathing. Back to center and to the other side. Back to center, hands to the heart. And we're going to bring the hands down in front of us here. So we're in a tabletop posture, and I'm going to invite you to bring a foot out to the side. So I'm starting with my right foot. So we've got this nice bent leg, a 90-degree angle there. Knee is over ankle. A little bit of softness in the elbows is a great idea. You don't want to be locked here. And check that your core is engaged. Even hanging out in this posture, you're going to feel some tension. And please also make sure your back foot has not gone to this kind of midline. You want to keep it separate and really nicely aligned. Good. Let's slowly sink down here. So softening through the elbows. I'm moving my hands forward slightly just to allow some more space. And so I'm not pushing back into the hips. I'm just dropping down with the front body. I'm going to bring my hands back up, placing them under the shoulders. And then weight bearing on, so I've got my right foot out to the side. I'm going to weight bear on my left hand so the right arm can come up, entering into a twist. So we're going to hold this and breathe. And while you're here, the slight kind of adjustment you can make is with that leg that's out to the side, see if you can kind of push it back using the strength of the thigh. So pushing it back a little bit, opening up the stretch. My gaze is up. My breath is deep. And then bring the hand back down. Good. From here, just watch your balance. We're going to float up, keeping that leg out to the side. So immediately my foot wants to go to the midline, my back foot. So I'm trying to really keep it positioned where it is. And check in with this leg that's at the side. I needed to just adjust my heel, bringing it forward a little bit so I have that good strength, pushing back, really getting that nice deep stretch. And I'm going to relax an arm on the leg. The other arm comes up. Deep breath as we lengthen. So you're pulling up, 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 feeling taller. And then we're crossing the midline. If you're collapsing forward on yourself, just twist this back, opening it up, breathing a lot. And then to release, just gently sweeping forward. And then the arm that was in the air, bring that to the hip, and we're going to bring the other arm up, 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 lengthening here. Take a quick moment and think about, what is your butt doing? Is your butt like just pushing way back? Like, are you really kind of arching out through the back? If you are, Tighten through the core, just bring the hips under, kind of pulling up here, keeping this nice and strong. And then when you're ready, just moving across the midline on the other side. Again, watch your balance, breathe deeply. And again, to release, we just gently sweep down. Both hands come to the floor, that leg comes back. Knees are gonna move further apart, toe knuckles together, wide-legged child's pose, breathe deeply. Good. Slowly start to float up onto the forearms and then bring your hands underneath the shoulders. Knees are going to move underneath the hips. And just like we did on the other side, bring a leg out. So right away, now this is my left leg. Right away, I'm noticing such a difference in tightness through that left thigh and left hip. So I'm just going to take some time softening the elbows, bringing the hands forward a little ways. And because I've discovered way more tension than I was expecting, I need to really adapt my breath. So slow, long, deep breath. Good. I'm going to bring my hands back under the shoulders, make sure the core is engaged. So I've got my left foot out to the side, and I'm going to take my left arm up into the air, reaching up. Nice deep breaths here. Think about pushing back through that leg, using the thigh to activate. And slowly bring the arm back down to the ground. From here, slowly lifting up, shoulders roll back. Make sure that your positioning is still good. And by that, I mean your back foot hasn't crossed over the midline. The front foot or leg is still out to the side. Again, my little hack is to bring the heel forward more than the toes. That gives me some additional strength through the inner thigh that I can work with. I'm going to just relax the arm on the bent leg, and the other arm's going to stretch up, reaching way up into the air, lengthening here. Lots of breath. Check in with your hips. Tuck the tail if you need to. And then slowly crossing the midline. And then all the way up. Bring the hand down to the hip. As long as everything in the lower body is still good, I'm going to bring the other arm up into the air, reaching here, lengthening, and then crossing the midline. And then a nice sweep down. Both hands come to the mat. Release that leg. And then let's slowly drop down onto our backs. So take a few moments to feel grounded and kind of nicely connected with the floor. Keep the breath deep. My feet and my knees are wider than hip width apart, so I'm going to just tighten this up a little bit. So I want my knees to be lined up with the iliac crest, and then the feet are in line with that. And as long as everything's feeling comfortable at this point, I'm going to invite you to bring your left leg onto the tummy. So we start without hands, just letting that knee kind of rest wherever it wants to rest. And then we're going to just wrap hands or arms around it and just gently pull it in towards the chest. We're going to hold this for a few moments, and a couple of things you can check on. One, make sure that your right leg is not flopping out to the side. You also want to make sure that your shoulders haven't rolled up to meet the leg. You want the leg to come towards the torso. Good. While holding the left leg in place and focusing on having both of your shoulders really nicely anchored to the floor, we're going to slowly take the right leg up into the air. So I'm starting with a flexed foot. You could do a pointed toe, whatever feels good. Flexed feels better for me. It's a nice stretch I'm getting along the hamstring. Now, soften that foot a little bit. Take a deep breath in. Start to point the toes and very slowly start to lower that leg down towards the floor. And while we're doing this, we're still holding on to that left leg. We haven't really done deep hip opening or work on the hip flexors. So this is probably feeling a little bit tight right now. You might feel like your extended leg is lifting up a little bit, that there's more space under the knee, and that is absolutely fine. And then we're very slowly going to lower the left foot to the floor. And now let's bring the right knee up to rest on the tummy. My arms are out at the side or sides. And then let's start to use the hands or the arms to guide that bent leg closer into the torso. And the perfect amount of pressure is when you can maintain a slow, steady, deep breath and have both shoulders remaining on the mat. Double check that your left leg's not flopping out to the side. Mine was. I need to bring a little bit of focus to that, keeping it properly aligned. And then if it feels comfortable, you can start to bring that left leg up into the air. Again, take some time, notice the difference maybe with the experience on this side of the body. You can flex the foot, point the foot, whatever feels good. And then we'll take a deep breath in, point the toe, flex the leg, and start to lower down to the mat slowly. Make any adjustments you need to now that the leg is on the mat. Again, checking in with yourself, making sure that your shoulders stay on the floor. And then slowly releasing. We're going to move the feet to the outer edges of the mat. The knees are still bent, and your arms can be wherever it feels like it makes sense for them to be. We're going to do a little bit of a windshield washer type activity. So I'm going to start to lower my legs to the left side. Again, keep your shoulders both pinned to the floor. And keep your core tight as you switch and move to the other side. So find a pace that works perfectly for you, just moving from side to side. It doesn't have to be with a breath, it can just be based on what you need. And if this hurts, if this is uncomfortable, then you might just want to bring both knees to the tummy. And then let's come to center. I'm going to bring the knees into the tummy, give them a nice hug, and then we're going to roll forward. Let's pop back onto our hands and knees. And because we are going to do some lunges here, if you feel that you need extra padding under your knees, now would be a good time to grab it. And in fact, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. So keep that breath nice and deep. And then let's bring one foot forward. So in this very kind of formal lunge, this is almost like the runner's start. I'm going to make sure that my knee is kind of located close to my armpit. And I'm going to flip my back toes under and push up on that back leg. I'm going to give myself a little bit of extra space here. So I just move my foot back and see if it's comfortable to just rock forward and back. And then I'm going to lower the knee down again and uncurl the toes. So when I do that, often I end up coming off the blanket or the towel. So I'm just going to adjust to make sure that I have that additional padding. I think I'm going to keep my toes flipped under for balance and support, because then I'm going to lift up. Find whatever position here is comfortable for you. You've got the front leg with a nice 90-degree angle. So the knee is over the ankle. The back leg is on a little bit more of, I don't know, a lean. It's not a 90. And as you're breathing deeply here, see if you can just kind of tuck the tail a little bit. And I'm going to bring my, it's my right leg that's forward. So I'm going to bring my left hand down to the floor, lining it up with that front foot. And then I'm going to take my right arm and lift up into the air. So we've got another nice twist. Hold and breathe. Let's bring that arm down. I'm going to bring both my hands together and then just either walk or pop your knee back. Let's bring the other foot forward. Starting in that very tight lunge posture. And then flip the back toes, extend that leg, maybe rock back and forth a little bit. And then we lower that knee back down. See if it's comfortable to come up on this side. I'm kind of undecided about the toes flipped under or not. So if this is feeling comfortable, tuck the tail under a little ways. And then I've got my left leg forward, so I'm going to bring my right hand down to the floor, down to the mat. And my left arm is going to sweep up. Nice twist here. Then I'm slowly bringing the hand back down. Okay, I've got my two hands together. I'm going to bring that front leg back. And then I'm going to move up into almost a version of the lightning bolt like we were starting with earlier today. So from here, we're going to do a little bit of a sneaky step into a lunge. I'm going to bring one foot forward. Make sure your shoulders are up and back. Make sure you're fairly stable and balanced. Really gripping with those front toes. Sweep the arms up. Open into cactus arms. And from here, start to twist towards the side that your front leg is on. Take some breaths. If you want, you can bring the back hand towards the base of the back, and the other arm can reach up, stretching back. And then slowly moving out of this, and we're going to bring the front leg back. A little balance moment there for me. Great. Let's move to the other side. So again, starting in this 90-90, more 90-90 to come. Good news. And if this is feeling comfortable for you, sweep the arms up, move to cactus arms. Take some breaths here. And then start to twist towards the side that that front leg is on. Keep breathing, even if you're experiencing tightness or kind of limited mobility. I sure as heck am. And then if it feels like a good idea, dropping the back arm, front arm reaches up and over. Keep your gaze focused either straight or kind of towards the ground. And then releasing this, let's bring the knees together. Cool. All righty. Let's come up to standing. I could drink buckets of water. It has been such a glorious week where I am. It's been warm. Well, it's been hot. Sunshine every day. It's been so spectacular. And so I'm used to feeling physically so warm. I'm like, this is actually kind of a neat feeling. I'm quite enjoying it. And I know some of you are enjoying cottage life, so I hope you're also feeling nice and warm. We're going to do a little bit of work in Tadasana, so the mountain pose, but we're going to do this as a one-legged Tadasana, and then we're going to do a little bit of a tightly modified dancer posture. Again, getting into the hips, slowing the breath so we can balance, and just seeing what happens when we push ourselves a little further. So for Tadasana, we start in our very kind of traditional posture. So this is the mountain pose. Feel your feet grounding into the floor. You want to feel your heels sinking in. Straighten through your legs, little tuck forward with the tail, shoulders back, arms long. I like the palms forward. You want to feel the front body lifting up, and that kind of allows your shoulders to come up, back and down. Long neck, soft jaw. Maybe close your eyes for a few moments. Good. Your eyes are closed. Now is a good time to open them. You can soften through the arms. Draw your attention to your left foot. You're going to weight bear on the left foot, left leg, which means right leg starts to lift up into the air. So your arms can be wherever they need to be for balance. Appreciate the shake and the wobble in the ankle that is supporting your weight. That's totally what should be happening. Keep the breath deep. If it is possible, bring the leg out to the side. That's when I realized I was a little bit lower here, so I'm going to lift up. Flex the foot. Then I'm going to come back to center. I'm going to see if I can lift that leg even more, pulling it in to the tummy. Shoulders roll back. Watch the balance. Breathe deeply. I think you'll probably agree with me when I say this was so much easier to do when we were lying on our backs on the floor. Slightly different dynamic. See if we can hold for 3 more breaths. And then gently soften and releasing. Good. Just shift the weight so it's evenly between both legs, both feet. Few deep cleansing breaths to get any stress out. Feel the softness that happens in the body after you have a strain. It's that kind of nice sense of relaxation. So appreciate it. And then we'll move to the other side. So when you're ready, lifting up. Check that your core is engaged. You don't want to be lifting the leg if you're not using the core muscles. And see if it's comfortable to move out to the side. Come back to center, lift that leg up, pulling it in. Shoulders are back, chest is proud. As tall as you can be, lots of deep breath. I know this is not a fun part of the practice. So we acknowledge it, we notice it. Smiling helps. And then gently releasing. Bring your feet a little wider apart and just sway. Again, allowing your body to express its feeling of gratitude for kind of finishing that posture. So usually a bit of that kind of softness flowing through the body. So before we come back down to the floor, let's just do a little bit of a modified dancer or a runner's stretch or a quad stretch. So let's again bring our feet side by each. Nice and tall, shoulders are back and down. And I'm intentionally bringing my shoulder to the back body because we're going to be grabbing onto a foot. I'll turn sideways so you know what I mean. I'm bringing my arm around as my foot lifts. Connect the two. So by modified dancer, we're not going to lean forward into this. Keep it really tight along the midline of the body. Maybe half a mudra by the heart. And again, keep that shoulder back. Chest is open. Be strong in your standing leg. Be confident. If you want, you can push that knee back a little ways. Get a nice stretch through the hip flexors. And then gently releasing that down. Good. Again, notice that feeling of relief. Maybe I'm the only one feeling that because I did a lot of stuff physically today. So I'm like, maybe everybody else is not feeling this. I'm certainly feeling like my body's like, we did some stuff already today. All right, let's do the other side. So again, I'm going to bring my shoulder up, back, and around. That makes it easier to find the space to find my foot. And maybe a half mudra. Take the time to get tall in this posture. Really kind of extend through that supporting leg. Chest is proud, shoulders are back, neck is nice and long. Feel really good about this. If you like, you can push that knee back a little ways, just for an additional stretch through the hip flexors and the top of the quad. And then let's slowly release that. Good. Feet wider. Just gently swaying with a little twist from side to side. Good. Roll your shoulders. I want to invite you to come down and do a 90-90 stretch. A lot of what we've been doing with stretching so far has kind of connected with balance, but the 90-90 is going to get deep into the hips, and I hope just really bring a feeling of calm and contentment. So the 90-90 will have one leg on a 90-degree angle and the other leg on a 90-degree angle. This is a great opportunity to make sure you have something soft under the ankle bone. So this is a 90-90 and not the stag. And for the stag, we tend to pull the foot right in to the other thigh. But keep this very formalized pose. And I'm taking a look at my back leg and realizing the foot's pushing towards the bum. So I'm going to just open that up a little bit. And when I open that up, I definitely feel it stretching. Nice. So you might notice that your back butt cheek is not quite on the floor. If that's the case in your world, that's totally fine. You can bring a hand to the hip, shoulder rolls back. See if you can just kind of convince that hip to roll back and down. You might be successful, you might not. That's okay. Good. So from here, we want to start to lower down over this front leg. To do that, I'm just going to move my hands and find my way. Maybe you're on fingertips, maybe you're on the forearms. But I am trying to line up my chest with that knee. So if this is feeling not horrible, I've got my left leg forward. I'm going to weight bear a little bit on my right arm and elbow. And then I'm going to take my left arm and I'm going to sweep it forward as I soften into the pose. And I'm going to hold this for about 3 more breaths. To release, you're going to slowly and mindfully walk yourself back up out of that. And then, just like we did with the windshield washers, we flip the legs to the other side. Again, make sure that you've got 90 degrees in the front, 90 degrees in the back. Think about where those ankle bones are. It does not feel good to have those banging on the floor. Think about what's happening in that back butt cheek. Mine, mine is so far off the floor, it's almost hitting my shoulder, I feel. So I am going to just take my hand to that hip and see if I can roll it down. And the answer I'm getting is a hard no. So I'm just gonna accept that that's how it is right now. Whew. But I will take a few more breaths here. All right. Time to start to lower down, lining up the chest with that front knee. If you can maintain a deep breath and you're not grinding your teeth, you could always extend an arm forward and softening further into the posture. let's find our way out of the pose. And then start to think about coming down onto your back. I think one of the best ways to end a practice when we're trying to relax is dead bug. So let's do that now for a few moments. So keeping your core tight, you're going to lift the legs up into the air, flex your feet. Stretch the arms up into the air, so much so that you're kind of lifting up through the shoulders. Fingers are spread, you're reaching for the sky. So lots of tension in the body. Let's take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, soften. So your shoulders sink into the ground, knees are a little bendy, elbows are a little bendy, hands are hanging in space, feet are hanging in space. Hang out here for a few moments. And then slowly let everything sink down to the mat. Find your perfect posture for Shavasana, and it doesn't have to be corpse pose. Start to deepen your breath. If it's comfortable, move your head from side to side. Stretch your fingers and your toes. And again, if you don't want to leave your kind of restful period right now, you don't have to. You could stay where you are and just float, breathe, melt. But if you're ready, take a really big stretch from fingers to toes, and then pull your knees into your tummy and give yourself an amazing hug. And then when you're ready, move to a seated posture. And as you're breathing deeply, just notice how you feel. Notice if anything has changed from the beginning of the practice. And I hope you are now experiencing feelings of calm, of satisfaction, mixed in with little bits of fatigue. And then we'll bring the hands together in front of the heart. This is where I say thank you and thanks for dealing with the technical issues we were having tonight. I appreciate everybody's perseverance and patience. I hope that everyone has a magical week full of wonder and just all the best things that maybe you can't even imagine. Namaste.